Hello there, welcome back to Mortals and Motors. Sorry it's been a little while since I've uploaded my last video, but COVID and winter and lockdown and Christmas and all sorts of things have got in the way. Anyway, today you join me somewhere very exciting because you join me somewhere warm with a radiator and a roof and a car. It's very exciting. Oh, it is for me anyway. I have never had a garage before where I can actually store one of my cars and work on it and enjoy it. So yes, this is just a little vlog update on this car, one I fondly call PGH because of its number plate. So yes, PGH has moved house to have its own garage, which is great. So I'll be able to pop up here occasionally and work on it. It's a bit far away to bring any of the other cars, so it's just for this car at the moment. It's a fully equipped garage with electricity and lights, and it even has mattresses on the wall and a sponge on that side of the wall so that the doors don't crash into the sides of the garage. Let's go have a little sit inside. So here is the inside of PGH, which you may have seen from my previous video. Just as a quick reminder, this car is a 1980 V-Reg Volvo 345DL, which means it's got a 1.4 Renault engine, manual gearbox, and it's done about 38,000 miles in its 40 odd years on the road. It doesn't get used that much, so one of the reasons it wasn't being used that much over the last few years is that I kept having problems with the brakes, specifically the rear brakes, binding and getting hot whilst I was driving, purely through lack of use, compounded then because it was causing a problem. I wouldn't use it, so it was just making it completely unusable. So I have decided to get the back brakes sorted, so I took it to my local garage and I've got them to strip down the back brakes, replace the wheel cylinders on both sides which were leaking, clean everything back up, lubricate it and put it all back together again, and it seems to have done the trick. It now stops beautifully and doesn't squeal when you brake, and more importantly doesn't get hot whilst you drive. So hooray for that, to make it a usable car again. So another update on this car is actually its age. So it passed 40 years old in April 2020, which means that technically from that point on it became MOT exempt, because it's a car that was registered more than 40 years ago and hasn't had any substantial alterations made to it, because obviously it's a completely standard car. Of course I am going to MOT it anyway because I'm going to use it properly on the road. But actually we've had the COVID MOT extension which brought it to the end of December, and I've decided that I'm not going to be using the car for the next few months anyway, so I'm going to just leave it without an MOT for a few months, and in the springtime I'll get it MOT'd then, so that it's the spring it gets MOT'd every year rather than the 29th of December, which is a horrendous time to try and get an old classic MOT'd, and then if there's a problem get it repaired, and it's cold and there's salt on the roads and it could be rainy and horrible. So I'm just going to delay it for a little while. The other point, and this confuses the hell out of me, is the tax, the vehicle excise duty here in the UK. So there is a bizarrely structured exemption from vehicle tax for cars built more than 40 years ago, but it's not that straightforward, so let me explain. So this car was registered on I think something like the 1st of April 1980, which means it's 40 years and 9 odd months old. So you would think that with a 40-year tax exemption that it should be tax exempt by now, but that is not the case. The critical date is whether at the 1st of January on any given year your car was 40 years old. So on the 1st of January 2020 my car was only 39 years old because April 2019 it had turned 39 and it wasn't going to be 40 until April 2020. So it wasn't qualifying on the 1st of January 2020. 1st of January 2021 has come along. It qualifies. We happy days. We are 40 years old. It was registered in April 1980. That is 40 years on the 1st of January 2021. Happy days, you think, but no, it's not that straightforward. You can actually only apply to have the car reclassed as a historic vehicle, which is what it means to have it tax exempt, from the 1st of April 2021. So it's really crazy. Essentially, the car will be 41 years old by the time it gets its 40-year tax exemption. It's really silly. I don't care. It's not that it's particularly expensive to tax, and it's SORNed quite a lot of the time anyway. But I just find that it's a really, really bizarre set of rules compared to the MOT exemption, which is simply, is your car over 40 years old? Done. No MOT. You don't have to prove it to anybody. You don't have to sign anything. You don't have to carry any paperwork to prove that it's MOT exempt. You simply say, you prove it by the fact that it's over 40 years old. But tax exemption is a lot more difficult. Very excitingly, I have 2 more cars that are going to be coming up in a year's time. So the green car, green 345 VCR 312W, that will become exempt. It qualifies on the 1st of January 2022 and can be taxed as historic from the 1st of April 2022. Got it? And then, just in case you haven't got it, the 245 VKN 137X, which is a 1982 car, that will qualify on the 1st of January 2023 as being tax exempt, but you can't apply until the 1st of April 2023 to actually get the tax exemption. There we go. Lesson on tax exemption. Whilst I'm in here, I just have one other little update on this car, which is, as I've been driving it around recently, I have noticed that the right-hand side heater flap controls don't seem to work. The left-hand side one's fine. It moves the controls inside, so that it moves the heat from the dashboard to the floor. Or they call that defroster, the def setting, and then floor. And that's fine. This side, it doesn't work. And I took this front panel off the other day, and I've seen that there's a little plastic arm that has split and separated apart from itself. So what I've done is I've set it so that it's on the demist setting or defroster setting, and I'm going to leave it there, set it manually behind the controls, because obviously I really want the screen to be demisted if it's rainy or wet or whatever. So I, in the attic, have a spare entire heater box from a 340 of this age, so I'm going to take the part I need from that and fit it onto this car at some point. It's a bit fiddly, sadly, because it's very bad access, so I'll do it when I can be bothered, but for the moment it's okay. Right, there we go. Thanks for joining me on this tiny little update about this car. I promise I'll make some more videos soon on some of my other cars. Hopefully you're all staying well and safe, and I will see you all soon in a future video. Bye.